Welcome to another development tour with myself, Kaz from Property by Kazy. Now, each and every week we have another developer showing us how they're making money in property and how they're making it work. And this week is exactly the same. And today I am joined by
Stephanie Taylor from HMO Heaven.
And Nikki Taylor.
So, in case you haven't guessed, they're sisters, so it's a family business. Now, today we're at something slightly different. We're at a conversion from commercial to residential. So, if I remember rightly, you bought this as a commercial property in 2018.
17, yeah.
17. And now 2022, it's now been transformed into 4 lovely one-bedroom flats. Now you've got 3 on this side and 1 with a separate entrance.
Right.
So can you take us inside and show us what you've done?
Wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we're in flat 1. We've adopted the same layout for each of the 3 flats, which are 1-bed apartments. And here, as you can see, we're in the lounge, dining, kitchen space, through to the bathroom with shower and whatever else.
Yeah.
And then also a bedroom. So 1-bedroom flats throughout.
Yeah, what I like about the layout is because they are, they're the same on each level. With the stacking, it means that particularly for long-term tenants, because this is something that I know you want to hold, you haven't got a bedroom on top of a lounge and vice versa, which means, from noise complaints and stuff like that, it should be a lot easier to manage. Also, when it comes to the build as well, if you make sure that you do make it as easy as possible, then in terms of buying materials, once you've measured out 1 bathroom, you're fine. Likewise for your flooring, etc. So having that almost cookie cutter approach means that hopefully you should keep build costs down, which I think is a really good sort of hack for any aspiring developer.
Yeah, and the other thing that we looked at actually when we were splitting the utilities, we had the choice to get the utilities from the front of the house or from the side of the house. And we paid extra to get it from the side of the house because then if there is a problem, we don't have to disrupt a tenant living in the property to be able to fix a problem.
Because I think I noticed on entrance, on the left-hand side, you've got what I guess would be your riser cupboard behind there when you come in.
That's right.
And I think that's always really good, that you have to think, particularly when you're going to hold something for the long term. And honestly, even if you're not, you want to make everybody's life as easy as possible and deliver an amazing end product.
So yeah, we're in flat 2 now, and this really kind of highlights what I love about this property and where it's positioned. Location, location, location. If you're buying in the right place, you're going to guarantee a great quality of tenant, and that's kind of followed through with the materials and the equipment that we've fitted the property out with. So we're close to the city centre, 2-minute walk. We can actually see the Newport railway station from this flat, so it's perfectly located for both short-term people coming to Newport on business, but also those that want it as a home. Some of the things that we've incorporated again with those tenants in mind, because we want to hold, are things like the USB power points, things like the video entry, so they can feel safe in their home and be able to know who's at the door without having to go down. Also, we've kind of really chosen, and we've played actually for the first time with the bathrooms.
Oh yeah.
We had a debate at the beginning. I prefer light bathrooms, Stephanie prefers dark, so this is Stephanie's chance to try out the dark bathroom fittings.
No, I think they really work. I like, the interior design overall. Like I like that it's all very minimalist, but then you've gone for touches of flair, like the splashbacks and the upstands as well, in the glass around the kitchen. I think overall it looks really, really nice. But nice is amazing. But what we want, obviously, a lot of people, they see it looking nice and they think, okay, I've done interior design and I could maybe create that. But what people struggle with is, before I even get to being able to make it look nice, how do I find a deal? So how did you guys go about actually sourcing this property? Where did you find it?
Yeah, we actually just found it on Rightmove, and it's all credit to Nikki because I would say, I didn't want to buy it. So talk about it.
Yeah, so we hadn't been in Newport that long actually.
Yeah.
We arrived in Newport and set up a business in the summer of 2016 and we bought this in 2017.
Yeah.
So it was kind of that excitement of, we're here now, let's do this. We could see that we're generating great cash flow through our rent-to-rent business, and there was an opportunity to grow much faster than we'd originally thought. But yeah, we were able to buy at the right price. So this was marketed at 160,000 or just under 160,000 as a commercial, and we were able to secure it for 148,000. There was a tenant in situ, paying rent, covering our expenses. So we knew that we had time. We didn't have to rush into the next step. But ultimately, we knew that we wanted to make sure that we had adequate time to test out that planning process and see what the local authority would be up for and what they wouldn't. So again, how we did that, or one of the things that we considered, was getting a proper planning consultant in. Sometimes people think, oh, well, I can do a planning application. We decided, because there's always a bit of pressure whenever anyone says, I want planning for a HMO, that if we brought in a consultant that has worked in our area, familiar with our area, we're more likely to get success the first time rather than having to go to appeal.
So flat 3, another 1-bedroom flat, similar layout, looks slightly different because obviously we're in the loft space now, so got some of the eaves, but still really nice, really good space. And I wanted to actually ask, you just mentioned that you hadn't been in Newport that long, so you potentially didn't have a base of contractors, but had to finish, what is quite a sizable conversion project. What was your most challenging aspect of this development?
Well, it's funny because although we bought it in 2017, we didn't actually commence the works until 2021 in COVID.
Yeah.
So by then we'd developed a core team of people that we work with and builders and contractors that we could trust and know that they would deliver the products that we were looking for. One problem with that, Kazy, was that when we actually came to do this project, they weren't available. Or they said that they would do the project, but the lead time would be much longer than we wanted to wait.
9 months instead of 3.
Yeah, so we decided to find somebody else.
Okay.
Which went very well.
Yeah, but again, as part of finding somebody else, I knew that it's an unknown quantity, albeit that I saw some of their works, and that anything can go wrong when it's not somebody who can deliver for you. So I also engaged a surveyor who I did know and who had worked with before to oversee and manage the contractor in as far as making sure that they're ticking the boxes and that we'd get over the line in the safest, most efficient way possible.
So we are now in the final property. This is flat 4 of 4. It's the one that's slightly different. This is actually a duplex and it benefits from 2 bathrooms, but then you've got the same open plan kitchen living space and a separate bedroom upstairs. Now this really is the jewel on the crown of this development and is hopefully what's going to add that extra little bit of end value when we talk about GDVs. And talking of GDVs, because everybody, you see that segue there, it was smooth. Talking of GDVs, we're gonna have to talk about the numbers. So you already mentioned it was on the market originally for how much?
159,950.
You know what I mean? They have to entice you in, and you were, it worked. Yeah. So they enticed you in at the 160 mark, but then you negotiated to
148,000.
148,000. Now, what were your other associated costs? So your build costs were?
All in, 260,000.
So 260,000 all in.
All in. That includes legals, professional fees, splitting the utilities, fittings, the whole shebang. And that also actually includes, we're going to put a bike shed and recycling
as part
store.
of your discharge conditions for the, a lot of the time.
So that 260 includes that as well.
Includes all that. And stamp duty?
148, below stamp duty threshold.
Oh, this is.
Or land transaction tax, as we like to call it in Wales.
I forgot to say we have to be area specific, and it is very nice that you are, honouring. Because I do actually know. Just side note, I'm like half Welsh, so I've come to my roots. I've come to explore. I've tried to read the signs, and I cannot. So we've said £148,000 purchase price, £260,000. Any finance costs involved?
That includes.
That includes that. That includes all. So that is the grand total is I'm not gonna do maths, but it's gonna be right here. And then what do you estimate your GDV to be?
Surveyor's coming on Thursday.
Okay, well, you know.
But we're hoping for a valuation of 600,000, and that's based on 150 per flat.
Okay, nice,
Yeah.
nice. So that means if you were to sell, you'll be looking at profits in the region of
200,000.
200,000, which is amazing. Even though, you know, I know you bought it a lot longer ago, it was still washing its face because you had tenants in, so it wasn't
indeed.
costing you money
Indeed.
during that period. So then since you started the works to now, it's, you know, a return on investment of £200,000 in a really short space of time, which is great. However, we're not going to sell, are we?
No, we're not. Sell?
We're not going to sell, exactly.
Why would we? Although we are looking to split the titles, because again, we want to maximise our exit strategies. This duplex, as you said, the dual, we're likely to run as a serviced accommodation. We might even use one of the other ones as a service accommodation as well. But if we want to, if we need to, if we whatever, we'll then have the option to be able to realise some of that cash without selling the whole development.
And the great thing about splitting the titles is, you were exactly right when you said it gives you options, because potentially if you've got all of your lending against one freehold unit, you could say, okay, I want to sell, but then when you sell, because your lender is just linked to one, they could say, well, we're going to take all of the money, and not actually, even though you've diluted their exposure, you're at the mercy of the lender's requirements. Whereas if you've got individual loans and you can pick your loan to value on each of those, you can structure it in a way that works best for you. Particularly when you mentioned the option of like SAing, so like serviced accommodation on some of them. There's now specific, you know, products that are coming out particularly for that, so it can keep you compliant as well, which is great. So we're excited to hear that, you know, fingers crossed, surveyor coming next week. I'm sure
this week Thursday.
This week Thursday.
Yeah,
so
2 days,
excited.
2-3 days.
So by the time this video comes out, that surveyor's valuation would have happened. So if you want to know what that is, you make sure that you ask us in the comments, and we're going to make sure that we get back to you. This has been another amazing video talking about the development potentials. We are on our South Wales leg of this development tour, catching up with amazing developers. If you've enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe. Ask us any comments. I'm sure Stephanie will be around, and you'll be around in the comment section to come and answer any of your questions. And we will catch you next week.